Hello, people. It's nighttime and it's winning. Another beautiful day. Yeah, or night. Hope your faucet's work health and strength is good. What? Look. Last year I made a video about the Xbox console bans, and it was a straight scam on the consumer, because when you buy an Xbox, first the Xbox One is a disposable console. What do I mean by that? What I mean is this: is that when you buy an Xbox One, you have to sign into Microsoft network, and even when you signed in, right, you have no control of the console. The network administrator controls the console, and they can shut that console off at any time. So let's say you buy a let's say you buy 100 games, right? And your console gets banned. Your console is disposable. Not only that, those 100 games now that you paid for, you got to repurchase them. Then on top of that, Microsoft had you paying for online and offline play, because in order to play the digital games that you pay for, the Xbox One has to be connected to the internet, so you can play those digital games. If you try to play those digital games offline, they don't work. Okay. So anyway, with the console ban now, it makes your console disposable. So now, what it does now, it put pressure on you now to go out and buy a new console, and then they try to give you they try to give you a fake name, and then you got to change it if you don't like it, right? So last year when I was explaining this console situation, Microsoft tried to counter what I said by asking this question. Are you planning? Let's say you get. Remember I told you that if you got 100 digital games, right, and on the hard drive, and your console get banned, you got to repurchase those games all over again, right? So what Microsoft did now was try to counter what I said by saying this: Are you planning on using your external hard drive on another Xbox? So basically, it's just like putting words in your mouth. So the question now becomes, okay, how did you know that I was gonna use this external hard drive on another Xbox? And who told you? So that's what they were doing, right? So basically, your Xbox is now disposable. There's three things that's protecting you when it comes to Xbox console ban. One, you never open the console, right? Two, it's the eject feature. The eject feature makes the Xbox One last longer, because if you keep pushing that eject button, after a while it wears out. So the eject feature now makes the Xbox last longer, right? Save you some trouble. But also now the eject feature on the Xbox, it protects you from opening the console, right? Number three is that you don't break the seal on the back of the Xbox, right? And number four now is your registry. Your registry keeps information of all the games that you got installed, and the time and the date you were playing. And if you try to run a mod on the system, the registry can record it. So when the Xbox enforcement team banned your console and they accuse you of hacking, and you never do it, now they have to prove it. Because saying it out your mouth is one thing, saying it in a text message is another. But now you got to physically prove it. Okay? And it's going to be hard to prove, especially if you have never opened the Xbox. That's one. The eject feature it protects you. That's two. The registry protects you. Three. And if you never run any mods or emulation, any soft mod, any hard mods, any emulation on this Xbox, it's gonna be hard to prove that. So if the Xbox enforcement team accuse you of hacking their network, saying it is one thing out their mouth, telling you in a text message, that's number two. But number three, they have to prove it. They got to prove it physically that you really went into this Xbox. Okay? And if this becomes a court issue, then the courts, they have their own IT department. They can open this console and they can tell if this console was tampered with or not. Okay? The Xbox enforcement team, they have to prove it. I mean, they can hide at Microsoft Corporation and thinking that they're safe, but they're not safe in the court because they can receive judgment just like the person they're accusing of hacking their network. So there's three things that, like I said, there's things that's protecting you. One, that you don't open this console or break the seal on the back of this. Two, the eject feature protects you from going in the console. And number three is the registry in the operating system. It protects you, and it keeps information of all the device and hardware that you use on this console. So if they accuse you, saying it is one thing. I mean, sending you a text message about you're hacking their network, that's number two. But number three, the Xbox enforcement team has to prove it physically. They have to prove it physically that you really hacked their network. Okay, so the Xbox console ban, man, was a total scam, you know. And last year I was telling people not to throw away their Xbox, not to throw away their Xbox console, whether it's the 360 or the Xbox One. Never throw it away, because the enforcement team has to prove physically that you went inside there, that you were hacking their network. Because it's going to be impossible to prove. It's going to be impossible to prove if you have never opened this console, if you never broke the seal on the back, if you never ran any emulation, any soft mods or hard mods on this. It's going to be difficult to prove. So yeah, so saying it is one thing, telling you in a text message, right, is another. But number three, you got to prove it. You have to prove it that someone really hacked your network. Okay, so you know, they might be safe at the Microsoft Corporation, and no disrespect to them, but in the courts, the judge, we're in front of a judge now, and then we'll find out who is lying and who is telling the truth. So you know, never throw away your banned consoles. Never throw away your banned consoles, because if you have never like open it or run or break the seal on the back, you got a case against Microsoft, because if they are accusing you, then they have to prove it physically. Saying it out their mouths is one thing, saying it in a text message is another. But number three is key now. You got to prove it. And then they have a tendency, they'll give you like they'll email you a list and said you're a part of a modding group, modding this, hacker group, hacker cult, all that. That sounds good and all. But if you have never run any emulation on this, or opened this, or you have never run any mods on this, then it's going to be impossible to prove that you really hacked their network. So that's why I tell people, never throw away your console, because why? This is your evidence. This is your evidence. Never throw away your evidence. If the Xbox enforcement team accuse you of something, they have to physically prove it. I mean, saying it out their mouth is one thing. Sending you an email and a text message and say you hacked their network, that's two. But number three is key now. They have to physically prove it. Never throw away your evidence when it comes to the Xbox, okay? Because when I brought this up last year, and I was talking about the console bans, they were daggers, and I threw it right at them, okay? So they try to counter what I said by asking this question: after they ban you, are you planning on using this hard drive on a newer Xbox? Okay, so basically they're trying to cover their tracks, but they're really trying to put words in your mouth. So you got to ask them, like, okay, how did you know I was buying a new Xbox, and who told you? You know, and you can take it from there. So yeah, this is your evidence, man. This is your evidence, and if you have never opened this or break the seal on the back, okay, you're in good standings, okay? And if you've never run any mods or emulation, then you're good on this, okay? And that eject feature now, the eject feature, it protects you from going into the system, okay? It makes the Xbox One last longer, right? But it protects you from going into the console. It's going to be real difficult to prove that it's going to be real difficult to prove that someone hacked their network, especially when they never opened the console or run any mods on it. Okay? I mean, Xbox enforcement team can tell you, say it out their mouth that you hacked their network, or they can send it to you in an email. But now you got to physically prove it. Okay? So yeah, that Xbox console ban was a straight scam, man. And when I exposed it last year, because you never had control of the console. You never did when you bought it. And when you sign in, you were paying for online and offline play. You never had offline play, right? And the games that you buy, a lot of them couldn't be played offline. Okay? Now when they ban you now, your console become disposable. And then they put pressure on you to buy a new console. But those games that you buy now on your hard drive, you had to repurchase them again. So what did they do to counter what I was saying? Now they came out and asked you, are you planning on using this hard drive on a newer console? Okay, because basically they're trying to counter what I said. So the console ban was a scam, but then I realized now they got to physically prove this now. Saying that someone hacked your network, sending you an email and said you did this, this, and this, that sounds good now. But now you got to physically prove it. And there's three things that's protecting you in this. One, you never opened the console. Two, the eject feature. The eject feature makes the console last longer, but it also protects you from breaking the seal on the back of the Xbox and going inside it. And number three is the registry. The registry keep a log of every piece of hardware and software that's used on your Xbox One. Okay? Yeah. They have to prove it physically. If the Xbox enforcement team bans you on Xbox network, saying it is one, that's one. Sending you an email, that's two. But number three, they have to physically prove it. Okay? And if you never break the seal on it or open it, right, and if you have never run any mods on it or emulation or do any soldering on your Xbox, then you got them. Okay? Never throw away your evidence. If they ban you on their network, never throw this away. This is your evidence. Okay? Anyway, leave this video for y'all to enjoy. Nice talking to you people again. Chris, still a Star Wars and Star Trek thing. Bored, dark side. Go. Peace.